The map said to hang a left at North Liberty, but the directions didn't point out it might be a turn for the worse.
Since the light pole is new, it wasn't on the map. And that's the reason why this whole production is not flowing the way it should.
This oversized problem ended up blocking all lanes of two busy state roads.
Since 1 o'clock.
Wow.
And it was there for hours.
All afternoon.
By some twist of fate, the semi got stuck right in front of Jean's Towing.
That's our grandson operating the wrecker. My husband and I have owned this business for 46 years.
And they're not used to calls like this one.
Nothing like that here.
They thought about bringing in a crane, but then someone had an idea.
Yeah, they went down to the Dollar General and got those gallons of soap, and they put it under the rear tires of the trailer and have been working to scoot it.
The tow trucks gave it their all.
Whoa!
And inch by inch,
New way to burn rubber, isn't it?
skidded the trailer into a better position.
He's gonna make it.
While this may be a tricky crossroads,
Cool.
in North Liberty,
Good deal.
there's plenty of help to get you on your way.
And everything is back to normal.
Ted Land, WSBT Channel 22 News. There's actually a machine that'll make whatever you want.
Students are mesmerized watching something that they created appear right before their eyes.
Just plug in some directions, and line by line, it prints in plastic.
It's mesmerizing, isn't it?
Teacher J.J. Johnson just couldn't wait to get his hands on one of these 3D printers.
My wife actually bought it for me a few weeks ago for completing my master's degree. I just can't tell students no, so we just print on this thing nonstop. It's here at the school about as much as it is at home.
It's unlocked all kinds of opportunities for the engineering and design students at Goshen High School. They're using it to fabricate custom parts for race cars they've designed and built.
Right here we have the mirror mount, and it has an axis so we can rotate it, which is really nice when I'm driving.
iPhone holders, brackets, toys. They're always trying something new.
Just to see kind of the light bulb go off on the top of their head, it's amazing.
Freshman Yvonne Lopez had never heard of a 3D printer, didn't know anyone in that design class down the hall, until they heard about a problem she was having with her gait trainer, kind of like a walker. It's hard enough getting around when you have cerebral palsy.
I couldn't keep my balance very well.
But the journey to third period is made even more difficult when your backpack keeps hitting you from behind.
It would push in and it would push her seat out, and she couldn't walk. That would affect her gait.
So the design class got right to work.
After trial and error, we just got the best version.
Within days, a custom fix. 2 printed clips.
This is the final product.
And a metal bar.
And it just clips on and it just comes right off. You wouldn't think something that looks so simple and so basic could do so much, but it actually really does. So I'm extremely impressed.
It works wonderful. It makes life so easy for me.
Isn't technology amazing?
It's a great thing that they did it for me. It's very easy.
Heading to the scene, rescuers just knew this one would be big.
Well, a lot of times you can tell, believe it or not, by the tone of the dispatcher's voice.
Cool Springs Volunteer Fire Chief Mike Pollock was down there in the middle of it all. He says they didn't know where to start. There were so many vehicles, dozens of victims who were trapped.
I personally started talking to him. I got to know some young lady out there. Her name was Judy. I told her, I said, I'm going to make you my priority, Judy, to get you out of this car. I took off my Nomax hood, put it on her to keep her warm. We went and got some blankets from the medics. We covered her up. We moved on to the next one. I got to know another young man out there. His name was Jeff.
48-year-old Jeff Rennell was in a very tricky spot, pinned between multiple semis, and firefighters were having a really tough time getting him out. An hour went by, then 2 hours.
He was conversing real well because I told him, I said, Jeff, it's after 5 o'clock, but when we get you out, I'm going to take you out for a beer, my friend. And he started laughing. Yeah.
The temperature dropped into single digits. The sun dipped below the horizon. And as the rescue approached its 4th hour, they finally freed Jeff and took him to a waiting medical helicopter.
And I kept apologizing to him. I told him, I said, Jeff, I said, you're making us work for our money here tonight. And just to make humor, to get his mind off of where he was and what was going on.
In the middle of such chaos, it was a reassuring voice that the victims heard.
It'll live with us forever. Yeah, that's something that you'll never forget.
Today's warmer weather sure felt nice, but it made for dangerous conditions in some neighborhoods. All day long, we've been hearing firefighters dispatched to brush fires, fueled by lots of leaves still on the ground and spread by some stiff breezes. WSBT's Ted Land takes us to a part of St. Joseph County where a fire caused a lot of damage. And Ted, that was one of several calls today.
Rick, one after the other, firefighters bounced from brush fire to brush fire. They say that even with the recent snow melt, dead vegetation is extremely dry and can burn very quickly.
Everything was just blowing wet.
The warmest day so far this year.
The whole house is engulfed.
Ended up being too hot on Sundown Drive.
Well, in the county, a lot of people burn their leaves. These are left over from last year, so people are trying to clean up their yards with springtime coming. Obviously not a good idea today.
One of several leaf fires blown out of control today.
It just skipped right over our house.
Spared Makita Greer and devoured the empty house next door.
It was very scary.
In its wake, the charred leftovers of last fall.
It's so windy. I mean, the fire just swept all the way across. And there were little bundles of leaves that I had to get out myself with a rake. When I walked back here, I noticed our lawn chairs were crisped. The garden was crisp.
No one was hurt, but it took multiple fire departments well over an hour to extinguish the flames. As yards dry out and the temperature rises, firefighters are expecting more calls like this one, because despite people's best efforts last fall, acres of leaves didn't get picked up.
And that's crazy.
And there's still plenty of fuel to burn.
I feel like God protected us.
Hi, welcome to the Drive-In. What you gonna watch?
The word nostalgia
6 is your change.
gets used a lot around here.
Screen 1 is the big one right behind me.
As if spending a few hours together as a family, outdoors on a warm summer evening, is somehow outdated.
With a bag of popcorn, butter running through it.
At the Triway in Plymouth, the air conditioning is a light breeze.
Drive-in movie.
And if you want your seat to recline, well, just lay back on that air mattress.
$26 for 2 movies?
The Height family drives down from South Bend every summer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
To celebrate their anniversary.
We're seeing Despicable Me 2 and Monsters University.
So much for a romantic evening alone.
We're so excited for it. It's gonna be awesome.
But they wouldn't have it any other way.
This is reliving my childhood and, you know, and getting to show my kids something that I did when I was a kid.
Any parent can tell you how rare those experiences are these days.
So I'm hopeful that it'll still be here in 20 years.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, or next year, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is something that we need to preserve.
Well, this projector was built back in the 1950s.
And it'll likely run for another half century. But there may not be anything to show.
By the end of this year, 35mm film will no longer exist. So it's not only the drive-ins, it's your small town theaters.
See, the industry is going digital, likely next year. Hard drives are easier to ship than film, cheaper too. And places like the Triway are scrambling to come up with the money to buy new projectors. It's happening in little ways. At the Triway restaurant, they're selling Go Digital bumper stickers. And they're asking for your spare change. Profits from mini golf also go into the projector fund. And they plan to auction off old movie posters. It all helps, but right now, it's not enough.
At this point in time, I'm very worried.
They aren't even a tenth of the way to their goal of $300,000, the cost of upgrading all 4 screens.
I'm hoping and praying.
In an industry that relies so heavily on its past, it's that history that now threatens its very existence.